HQ, we've got a situation developing here at the West Front. Please advise.
All right, what's the situation, officer?
We've got a large group of protesters approaching the Capitol building, and it's starting to look like they intend to storm the barricades.
Wait, what? You've got to be kidding me, officer. This is a very serious situation. Hold the line for as long as you can while we call for backup.
Copy that. Better hurry. They're extremely agitated, and I think we're gonna have to use force to hold them back.
All right, everyone here is gearing up, and we're right about to call the National Guard. Help is on the way. Go ahead and describe these rioters for us.
Roger. Subjects are a very large group of white people wearing MAGA hats and...
Hold on, officer. Did I just hear you say white?
That's affirmative, HQ.
Should have led with that. All right, go ahead and let them in.
Hold on now. Really, aren't we supposed to,
I said let them in, officer, and when they're done goofing around in there, make sure they get home safe.
Copy that. Over and out.
Be careful, they're walking amongst us.
A shin show.
A shin show.
A shin show.
A shin show. A shin show.
A shin show.
Well, welcome to A Shin Show. I'm your host, Pete Shin. Everyone's here. And the fact of the matter is, this is an extraordinary time and an extraordinary show because this week, for the first time in any of our lifetimes, a crowd of rioters overran the U.S. Capitol complex, forcing a joint session of Congress to flee the chamber as they were counting the Electoral College votes for Joe Biden. Unbelievable. And what's even more unbelievable is the fact that they were largely, although not entirely, let in. And then they were largely, though not entirely, escorted out of the Capitol complex. Now, some of them have gotten arrested now, but one could only imagine what might have happened had Black Lives Matters protesters done the same thing back in June.
The steps to the Capitol would have run red with blood.
And it's an extraordinary failure of both leadership and imagination on the part of the leadership of the Capitol Police not to plan for this, as it was well known that violence was likely.
Oh, they planned for it. They did exactly what they planned, which is nothing.
Oh, and congratulations, Go USA. Apparently, on the 17th, there's some sort of operation in the works being planned that is planned to be violent, specifically, as opposed to, oh, let's just rally and bring our guns in case things go off. No, this is definitely different.
Well, thanks for the warning. Perhaps it will be heated this time around, as it was not on January 6th.
What do you mean by heated? Fuck you mean?
What I mean by heated is that they were warned that this was going to happen, the leadership of the Capitol Police. So they had plenty of warning last time. Now with Elsie's warning this time, maybe that will be the warning that they actually heed.
Yeah, because we all know they listen to a Shin show.
Okay,
Yeah.
heated.
Yeah.
I thought you meant heated. Like,
Yeah, everyone.
like-
I think everyone thought he meant heated.
Heated
No,
up.
I knew what you meant from the very beginning.
I see.
Like, fuck a heated argument. We let the heat argue.
H-E-E-D, not H-E-A-T.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the problem with audio versus, in fact, having, I don't know, a chirograph or some kind of spelling for you. Yeah,
We need
heed.
someone on the minutes. You know what I mean? That'd be great. We should actually get someone to or maybe there's probably some kind of software you could use that would transcribe this entire show.
What a great
Some
idea.
closed captions.
Oh,
That would actually probably be worse. Everything usually sounds worse on paper.
especially the shit we talk about, for sure. Definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do you all feel as young people about the fact that you saw your Congress overrun by rioters last week? How does that make you feel?
It's making me feel so good. Ooh.
That's not even how that song goes.
No, it's not. That isn't.
I'll just say that we had an attempted coup on whatever day that was, and then I clocked into work next day. So I'm feeling a lot like just another fucking cog in the machine, my dude.
Machine.
That's a fair statement. Perhaps it didn't change anything at all. Perhaps it isn't that big of a deal. That's kind of what you're implying, Sarah.
No, I'm implying that it was a huge fucking deal. And here's the thing is that I work for a bunch of conservatives, and it's like, y'all, did anybody else see that shit? I feel like I'm the only one who fucking saw that shit, and it's a little surreal, I guess, is what I'll say.
Yeah, look, this is a big country, man. Even if they somehow held the Capitol building, that's not going to change how we live in Nebraska. To completely overthrow an entire country would take... There's no way a group of fucking maggots, as Elsie so affectionately refers to them, could stand against the might of the military.
First of all, never say never. And second of all, as a queer woman, it fucking scares me that this shit gets as far as it does.
But like they couldn't contest the National Guard.
We don't know what foreign national powers are secretly also waiting in the wings. We don't.
I mean, that would be an invasion, though. An invasion is just off the table.
Well, let me instead posit this alternative reality, in which on January 6th, instead of a crowd of rabble, you had an actual trained militia with a plan to go in and take the Capitol building, posing as rioters. That could easily have been the case, and several of the jokers who actually did get into the Capitol were dressed as if they were militiamen. But in fact, we know that it was completely disorganized and incited by President Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and Donald Trump Jr. They incited this riot. They told the rioters to go down to the Capitol and to make the Congress overturn the election. Now, I firmly believe that President Trump, once he's out of office one way or another, needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law for incitement to riot.
Couldn't we do something about Rudy Giuliani now, though? I mean, he's not the fucking president, and he literally said trial by combat, trying to encourage them to, get into fisticuffs over this.
I would like to see Rudy Giuliani fucking go through trial by combat with Mike Tyson on the Senate floor.
I think that's a very fair response.
And it's to the death. I mean, obviously, it's to the death.
Well, that's the nature of trial by combat, obviously.
Sure. Look, you want to know how I really feel about the whole thing?
Yes.
Here's how I really feel about the whole thing. 2021 is off to a great start.
I couldn't agree more, son.
Really setting the pace, setting the tone very well for this year. So
I watch a lot of TikToks these days, and there's a lot of people on my page that are like, you know what? In 2021, I woke up and chose violence. I think the whole world, or at least America, woke up in 2021 and chose violence.
What do you mean?
Like you said, it's off to a banger start, man.
Well, yeah, I didn't choose that, though. I didn't choose for a bunch of dummies to storm the Capitol. Although, yeah, if there was ever a time, like, I don't know, I've said this to a bunch of my friends. I'm not a lawyer, but that does seem like treason. Is that not treason? That seems lightly treasonous.
Which part?
To storm the Capitol building of your country.
I'm no lawyer either, but it's not treason if you believe that you're following the orders of the president. And as a matter of fact, this Angeli fellow, Mr. Angeli, that's one of his names, the so-called QAnon shaman, when he was arrested for his role in the attempted takeover of the Capitol, he said the following: "I was merely doing what the president told me to do." And you know what? I couldn't agree with him more.
Well, the scary thing about that is, especially with the Rudy Giuliani thing and people being prosecuted, is President Trump has been pardoning people left and fucking right. What would stop him from pardoning all of these people, including Rudy Giuliani, before he leaves office?
He could pardon them on federal crimes, but he can't pardon them for crimes against the state or local crimes. So the Attorney General of the District of Columbia is mulling local charges against all of these people in order to prevent that very eventuality.
Well, that's great.
Look, I'll just be really interested because the House has already drafted up articles of impeachment or whatever that they're supposed to be presenting
10 days before he was supposed to be.
It doesn't matter. You're setting a principle. You cannot do that. And then
it matters a little.
I was never for impeaching at this point because it's like, fuck, let's just get through what we got to get through, right? But then some people I know were making some very compelling points yesterday, to include but not limited to, if we don't impeach him, he will get $200,000 plus taxpayer dollars every year for the rest of his life for having been the president. He will have a $100,000 travel budget every year for having been our president, and will receive a Secret Service detail to make sure that he is safe and secure every day for the rest of his fucking life. And he could run for president again in 2024. For all four of those reasons, I feel like impeachment makes sense and is appropriate and should be pursued.
Well, you know what? When you put it like that, I have to agree. Just the money part. Just the money part is all I care about. I don't give a fuck about the Secret Service goons or...
It takes tax money to pay for those people to protect him.
Yeah, well, okay, there you go. Good job. You've convinced me. Let's impeach him.
Whoop, whoop.
Or, in the immortal words of Ice-T, is it Ice-T or Ice Cube?
What are the words?
Arrest the president. Arrest the president. Arrest the president. You got the evidence.
That's Ice Cube.
It is Ice Cube. Sorry, I meant Ice
Ice-T
Cube.
don't make music no more. He solves crimes. He solves murders and makes puns about the state of decomposition a body is in or
Whatever.
It's really in poor taste, but he's Ice-T, so what are you going to do?
Well, let's just hope he doesn't change into his water form of ice water.
Water tea. He turns into water tea, for Christ's sake. But anyway, what I was going to say is what's funny is I keep seeing the pictures of those, and this is the last I'm going to say about the Capitol thing because I'm sure everyone's tired of the whole goddamn thing. But what's funny is all the pictures of the guys in there, and then you see their mug shots and they shaved. Like, they shaved when they knew they were getting arrested, either A, to help not get identified by the cops, or B, because, you know, they want to look good in court.
I think as stupid as these motherfuckers were, it's probably because these master criminals thought if they shaved, they'd be unrecognizable.
Sure. Which you wouldn't do if you really truly believed you hadn't done anything wrong.
Of course they know that they did something wrong. And this is what happens when you have a mob. When you're part of a large crowd, oftentimes you feel justified and excused in doing whatever you want to do, whether that's in an online mob or in person. And that's especially true if in person, the president of the fucking United States of America is the one telling you to go and engage in violence. That, I think, is the ultimate dereliction of duty and one for which he should face legal consequences.
Is this not a microcosm of a bigger issue, though? The fact that there is a man who would do something like this and he just won the presidency from his shitter on Twitter. I didn't mean for a rhyme like that, but it worked out, and I'm pretty proud of it. But President Trump here he's not the problem. He's the symptom of a very larger problem with the American people and the American system. And I do believe these things that are happening are just further little pieces of evidence that prove my argument that it's over, that this country is circling the drain. You remember those things at the mall you used to put the quarter in and it would make
like
a
big
cone?
Circle. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
It'd make a big circle, and eventually it would go down the hole.
Yeah, America is the quarter, you know? And we got put in like, I don't know, the 60s to the 70s, maybe the 80s. Like, this happened a long time ago. I don't know exactly when, but it's like way past the point of saving now.
Well, I hear what you're saying, because after all, you may recall, Nick, you originally said that if President Trump won again, that we would become Mordor and that the Orcs would rule the land. Previously on a Shin Show.
Trump's going to turn America into Mordor. Everyone's going to get irradiated and cancerous and turn into fucking orcs and just run around and cannibalize each other and shit.
But it turns out the Orcs have come out whether or not Trump wins or loses. That's, I guess, the time to open the gates of Mordor. Speaking of which, my favorite Reddit joke about this whole incident, which is, what is the difference between Mordor and the U.S. Capitol? And the answer is, one simply doesn't walk into Mordor.
That's pretty good.
And in fact, this is what's shocking to me as a guy who used to work in the Senate Russell office building. You don't just go to the Capitol without access. And the fact that these people were able to smash the altars in our temple of democracy is an everlasting American shame. And what's even more shameful is then following that, the Republicans continued to object to the legally certified votes of all 50 states. I mean, they didn't object to all 50 states. They only objected to a handful of states. But nevertheless, it's a shameful day for democracy, a shameful day for America, and one which we may or may not ever fully recover from. It's too soon to tell.
But do you know what a proud day for democracy was?
The day you got your citizenship?
That's right, baby. No, but also the day that Democrats won Georgia. I mean, that's pretty exciting.
That was pretty exciting.
Was the same day, actually.
Wow. Why am I not focusing on that?
Stacey Abrams, right, is the one who organized a lot of the voter outreach and stuff in Georgia. How amazing is she, man? So she lost whatever race she ran, and then she basically studied her parents' theology books because both of her parents were ministers and had established churches, took the lessons of preaching the Lord's word, and instead used it to preach the word of democracy and specifically democratic values, went out and increased voter turnout to the point where Georgia turned blue. It's amazing. Go Stacey Abrams.
For sure.
Yeah.
She's an American treasure and gives me hope that the future might not be just completely bleak Mordor.
How do we nominate her for Time Person of the Year?
This is the irony. You know who she actually lost the election to? She lost the election to Governor Brian Kemp by just a few hundred votes in an election that was widely regarded as influenced by voter suppression on the part of Republicans. And yet, it was Governor Brian Kemp who ultimately had to stand up to Trump in terms of the vote count in Georgia and certifying it for Biden. So ultimately, while Brian Kemp was the beneficiary of Republican vote suppression tactics in 2018, nevertheless, he proved to have a backbone when it counted in terms of Georgia's electoral college votes.
Yeah, you know what that's like? That's like a small-time dealer who gets approached by the cartel and realizes that he's in over his head. And is like, you know what? I'm good with just my local gig I've got going on. Like, I'm good with the voter suppression just here. I'm not really ready to take it to the national cartel level, you know?
I think that's an excellent analogy, which I accept, and we'll move on. Let's all praise Stacey Abrams. Hey, and boys, guess
Man,
what?
Fuck Stacey Abrams.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, fuck you, bud.
I didn't hear the first part of this conversation at all.
Get out of here, you troll.
Do you not hear when women are speaking? Is that what it is?
I don't hear anyone speaking when I leave the room.
I'm going to cut all that out and leave in the part where I said I'm going to cut all that out.
Good. You better do it.
We're making
You
progress.
didn't do it last time.
I did. It's your poor memory that makes you think I didn't cut everything out. Believe me, I cut a lot of shit out. You can
Sounds
believe
like
that.
you're gaslighting me right now, but I can't tell the difference.
When
so
people tell you to believe them, you know you don't need to believe them.
Oh my
I'm
God.
just gonna take your word for. I'm gonna take it at face value.
Well, in the meantime, what I wanted to say about Stacey Abrams, fellas, is that she's single.
Who is this woman? Did she kill somebody? Did she kill her kid or something?
Oh my God.
Gotta
Let's cut that
reiterate.
Why are
out.
we still talking about her? Is the question.
Well, I'll explain it to you real quick, and then we can cut it all out, which is that
Yeah.
so that you
why?
know, Stacey Abrams is an activist, a Democratic activist. She ran for governor of Georgia in 2018, got beat by a guy named Brian Kemp by about
All right. So
500
it's
votes.
politics.
Yeah,
It's-
and she's
you know.
responsible for getting the 2 Georgia senators elected, which will deliver the Democrats control of the Senate and therefore control of the government.
Okay. And then America's gonna be fixed now.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, damn, Stacey Abrams, you fucking killed it. You fixed America. Holy shit.
Thanks, Stacey.
Thanks,
Not think
Stacey.
that was gonna go down.
Especially after that first part of the show, huh? But yet
Yeah.
here we are, fixed.
Stacey Abrams came in with Excalibur and just slayed all the terrorists and fixed America.
It's awesome. Thank you, Stacey. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, closer to home, I hate to bring this up, but it happened again today, and it happens every day Elsie and I take a walk, and it has for about the last 6 weeks. Elsie, do you know what I'm talking about here? You don't. I can tell by the look in your eyes. Here's what it is. We go to a trailhead to take our walk with Lily the Wonder Dog. We do this almost every day, and every day at this trailhead since the beginning of December, there have been 2 used condoms lying on the ground by the trailhead. Used condoms.
2 new ones every day or just the same 2?
The same 2. The same old 2. Nevertheless, it's disturbing. Why won't somebody pick them up? Are they on public ground? Are they on private ground? I don't know. Elsie and I oftentimes will pick up trash on the trail or trail adjacent, and yet I cannot bring myself to pick up these used condoms and throw them in the trash. What am I going to do? I got to look at them every fucking time I take a walk.
Well, okay, so you just said, why doesn't somebody pick them up? And then just said, I'm not going to pick them up. So
yeah,
how the
you
fuck
said,
can
why
you
doesn't
judge?
someone pick them up? Yeah, why don't you pick them up?
I just don't look at them.
Stop looking for external solutions to your problems, Dad.
Clearly, these 2 used, beaten, buckled, weathered condoms occupy a lot of real estate in your mind, Dad. I can tell that you've come up with all kind of strange philosophies to justify not picking or definitely picking them up. I feel like you're trying to do a little misdirect here, and you just want to handle them. You just want to feel them and pick them up and see what they feel like. And you're trying to make it seem like, oh, why won't anyone pick it up? They're just laying there. Someone's got to do it. I like to pick up trash. Oh, I'm going to waste them. I'm just going to sit there and waste them. That's what it feels like to me. I could be wrong, but
Gotta recycle those condoms there, bud.
Honey, did you remember to pick up condoms while you were out?
I wanted to, but we just can't afford them.
Oh no, I guess we just can't have sex then.
boy, if you had a nickel for every time this has happened, right? At Porker's Pre-Loved Condoms, we fight big birth control for you. You demand high-quality, affordable condoms, and Porker's delivers. We are a totally green business that recycles used condoms and provides them to you cheap. Best of all, each condom is pre-lubricated with the fluid from the previous owners. So whether you need bargain condoms or are tired of throwing your used ones out your car window, Porker's has been watching and is here for you. Just go online to use.rubber.vomit.biz today and get your fuck on tomorrow.
I personally think that it's more of an existential crisis and that the used condoms are more of a metaphor for the parts of yourself that you don't want to fix.
Deep.
Hashtag deep.
Hashtag I'm going to cut all that out.
Yeah, that's like a huge podcast meme where they're like, we're going to cut all that out. We're going to get rid of that. And then they never fucking do.
That's me all over. Well, anyway, thanks for psychoanalyzing me. I'm surprised none of you came up with, gee, that's gross, Dad.
At least they fucking wear protection, okay? Why don't you think about that? At least these kids these days are wearing protection.
Now,
okay?
hold on. Let's do a little analysis here. Do they look like they were placed there at the same time?
Yes, they do.
Yes. So if there's two condoms placed there, let's use a little power of deduction here. That means there had to be two dicks. Okay. And they were both used and they were both placed there at the same time, which means it was two guys kind of in an Ouroboros type situation fucking each other in the ass at the same time. You know what I mean? If you don't know what Ouroboros is, it's the snake eating its own tail type thing in an infinity symbol, but just instead of the snake, it's just two guys' erect penises inside one another in an infinite writhing thing. And then, I guess they just, it was right there on the trail. Is this a cozy part of the trail? Is there like a clearing nearby?
It's the parking lot that leads into the trail, you see.
So there is a clearing.
Yes, of course.
Is there maybe like a natural bed of moss or something, or like a cherry blossom tree?
No, my presumption is that they're in one or another person's car.
Now that's making a little bit more sense.
It is.
I was getting mystical with it.
Yeah, no need. Nor is there any need to imagine that it's two men. Why couldn't it just be one guy with super nutting powers who needs two condoms?
Why couldn't it just be a three-way? Because everyone knows it's not gay as long as it's a three-way.
That's true. It could just be two guys, one chick. But if that's happening, usually condoms aren't on the table. What, is he using a condom in her mouth?
I'm done with this bit. I'm done with the speculation. Dad, you're gross for bringing it up. Just be a man and pick him up. Or leave him alone and don't look at him.
But for God's sake, get over it one way or another.
I'm going to cut all this out.
Since you're cutting all of it out, has anyone considered a DP situation? Okay, it doesn't necessarily need to be the mouth.
You're right.
What do you mean? It could be like the ear?
No, it could be like the ass. It could be a three-way with three guys. You know what I mean?
That's true. But then there couldn't be the DP.
What are you talking about,
you
DP?
can make it work if
what are you
wanted
talking
to.
about, DP?
Double
That's called-
penetration.
It's double penetration. Or
Well, you're a man.
penetration double, as they say in French.
What?
Well, I'm glad you're relying on your French heritage now that I've exposed it so thoroughly from last week.
Well, I know everybody wants to talk about this a little bit more, but I suppose we could move on.
I guess we can. Let's move on to a lighter subject.
Okay, so yeah, that's the heavy fucking subject. Not, people storming the Capitol, but the heavy subject is the fucking condom talk.
Yes, the
You're right. That's the
existential
dark part.
crisis you experienced from seeing two condoms on a trail.
It's true, and it seems to be more significant than seeing the Capitol ransacked, although that's actually not the case. But I will say, I was shaken just briefly by news of Tanya Roberts' death. And Tanya Roberts, as you may know, she was the Bond girl in the 1985 James Bond movie A View to a Kill, in which she co-starred with Roger Moore. And then later she was the mom, or one of the moms, on that 70s show. And so she's a famous actress, and then I got really sad when it was reported that she had died. But then it was good news, because it turned out that she wasn't dead. But then I was sad again when it turned out the following day that reports of her non-death were indeed premature. So indeed she was dead, but not at the time that they originally said she was dead. It was 2 days after that she was actually dead. But still now, and all of that said, she's dead.
So my only question is, what was the sex pun that was her name in the James Bond movie?
I don't remember her name in the James Bond movie. It wasn't a sex pun, though. I don't believe it was.
Then how much do you really care? How about that?
I gotta say, I care more about the fucking condoms on the side of the road. No offense. I'm sure you're a lovely person and we're all sorry you're dead, but
You just say you care more about
I mean,
The
as far as
condoms on the side of the road than a woman's life.
As far as the impact to my life, because I got to hear about these condoms every goddamn day from your father. This lady, he's mentioned once.
Well, shit.
That's really evil, hun. You're really going to hell for that. You might get a visit from the devil.
How often do I have to say I'm committed to hell before you people will believe me?
You have said that several times, so I guess I'm going to have to believe that. But isn't it odd that she would be declared dead and then alive and then dead again? It's just bad form. That's all I'm saying.
If you want any more opinions, we've lost 2 of the clan, so...
What do you mean we've lost 2 of the clan?
Okay, they're back now.
You brought up the condom again. I had to leave.
No one brought up any condoms. No one did. No one ever
Your
did.
beloved wife did, but, it's not like you listen to the women on the podcast anyway, so...
Exactly.
That isn't true. It never was.
Okay, boomer.
Right.
I'd forgotten to mention this, but fuck you.
Great parenting.
Sorry, I was absent once again. My friend Dave called me and...
You can't not take Dave's calls.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't, though, is the thing, because they will last 45 minutes unless you very decisively cut it off.
I understand. Well, in any event, if any of you kids find out that I'm dead, you call Zeke Sloper right away. Zeke Sloper here from the barely legal firm Sloper, Toe Jam, and Crunch. Have you been declared legally dead, yet still believe you're alive? Are so-called executors selling off your estate without your consent, all because you're unresponsive? Think there's nothing you can do about it? Wrong! I will fight to ensure you remain legally alive and keep the assets you've accumulated, even if you aren't technically living. So don't let Big Funeral tell you you're not alive. Just have them call Sloper, Hangnail, and Crunch. We'll see them in court, and you can see them in hell.
Not a solicitation for legal services. Sloper, Fungus, and Crunch licensed only in the Federated States of Micronesia. Offer not valid for those breathing.
I was going to say the Ghostbusters, but okay.
You're not going to want to call this lady's agent, tell you that.
No, not Tanya Roberts. He'll say you're dead, but you won't be, and then you will be. So don't call him. Well, guess what?
Chicken butt.
No.
You know what else?
What else?
It smells.
I love that joke.
What are we doing?
What I'm doing is announcing that Elon Musk is now the wealthiest man in the world.
Fuck him.
Eat the rich.
I just saw a thing that said people are concerned that only the richest of the rich will be able to go to the red planet, to Mars, but Elon Musk announced that he intends for there to be a loaning system, and you can work on the colony to pay off your loans.
It's going to be just like the early colonialization then. You can do your indentured servitude. Maybe if you commit enough crimes, you'll just get sent there like Australia.
Sure. People are calling it, we've actually done that. That's called indentured servitude.
There's nothing new under the sun. It's just, we're going to send you on a rocket, though, instead of the state-of-the-art technology of 1620.
Right.
The state-of-the-art technology in 1620 was a 3-masted sailing ship. We're going to put you on that and send you to the New World. This time we'll send you on the Starship and send you to the New World where you can work yourself to death. But guess what? You'll be doing it on a new world. So it's sci-fi.
You know what? Elon Musk is definitely the kind of guy who will try to put his brain inside a robot, and he'll semi-succeed. Everyone will think he has succeeded. It's just robot Elon Musk with his voice and his very weird alienish mannerisms. But in reality, something's going to have gone horribly wrong. And all the worst aspects of his personality are going to be magnified in this robot. And he's going to make a robot army, self-replicating type deal. You know the biz.
And at that point, his self-replicating robots will take over the Capitol, start waving Trump flags.
Why would they be waving Trump flags? They would be waving Tesla flags, obviously.
Obviously, you're right.
It'd be the United Solar System of Tesla.
But they reused the Trump flags. So, like, it starts with a Trump T, and then instead of rump, it's Esla.
Although that reminds me, when we were driving through Virginia a few months ago, there were a lot of big Trump billboards all over the place, and somebody very cleverly just cut the T out, so it just fell over, and everywhere you saw was rump.
I like that.
Woo! Awesome.
Virginia for lovers, baby.
Wow, what a real difference they're making out there. How very edgy of them. I bet they got home and just wore a leather jacket and chewed some bubble gum.
It's Virginia, so that definitely was not bubble gum. It was totally fucking chewing tobacco, 100%.
Yeah, and then they shot up some sweet Georgia Brown and went to sleep.
By sweet Georgia Brown, you mean heroin?
Of course.
Oh, I see. I didn't know what that was about. I guess because I've never used heroin.
Or
Well,
have
I
you?
haven't either, but just because you know the nickname for a drug doesn't mean you use it. But it doesn't mean you don't use it either.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just want to make sure I don't need to rush it inpatient treatment immediately.
It is a point above zero. Cool. Great. Elon Musk, Overlord 2045.
On the heroin side note, Freya like cut me up really bad when I was trying to get her outside of the house to like put her in the car one time when I was taking her on a trip. And now every time I go to like give blood, they give me like weird fucking looks, like, you know, I got track marks on my arm.
Yeah,
And you're like, oh no, it's just a cat. And they're like, right, it's just a cat.
a cat named Horse.
Every time they ask me if I have sex with men or have ever, I'm like, no, why would I ever have thought of that?
You have to be honest with the doctors, otherwise they can't properly judge
a
you
doctor.
and then misdiagnose you.
Right. Or else they can't properly be homophobic against me.
Yeah. Or else they can't accuse you of also being a drug addict on top of a gay man and getting AIDS for fun.
Just for funsies.
It's just not fun.
Okay, yeah. I was going somewhere with that.
Yeah, to hell.
I can't go by myself.
AIDS!
Speaking of homophobia, though, Justin Thompson, renowned PGA golfer, was heard on camera after missing a 4-foot putt to say faggot derisively at his golf ball. And then afterwards, in fairness, he made a lengthy apology where he said he had no excuses and was an adult and was embarrassed about using an anti-gay slur at his golf ball. And I just can't help thinking, I've done a lot of stupid things in my life, and after every mistake, the last thing I would say is faggot. If I fucked up, I would say, God damn it, or son of a bitch, or motherfucker. I would never say faggot. I just don't understand that as a cuss word. Can someone explain to me why you would do that?
He clearly sees his golf ball as an animate object. That's what it is. And he's homophobic.
When you say an animate object, do you think he thinks his golf ball is gay? Do you
I mean, he sees his golf ball as a thing with a soul, something that you insult. Like how Happy Gilmore is talking to his golf ball, questioning why it's not going into its home. It's too good for its home. It can't get into its home. Now, why would you say that to a golf ball unless you had a little bit of homophobic magic inside yourself?
Alternatively, he is actually some flavor of gay. Because, you know, if you're queer, then you can say fag, no problem.
And confirm.
All right, well,
Get your F card.
that could be it. I just thought he thought maybe his golf ball was gay, which made me think about our earlier conversation about double penetration, and maybe he had some kind of thing going in his head there with this golf ball. I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me, and I'm glad he
Well,
apologized.
hold on. Not double penetration isn't always gay. Actually, for the most part, it's not gay, but it can be if you
Although,
want it to be.
To be
Anything
fair,
can be anything if you want it bad enough.
And this whole conversation isn't weird unless you make it weird.
Unless you point it out like you just did. And so now it is, but it's all good because that doesn't make me uncomfortable.
to have gay double penetration, I mean, that's very difficult. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like no one's getting like pleasure. No one's
Well-
like feeling good.
Not at a trailhead, that's for damn sure.
Well, perhaps only at a trailhead. When there's that little, just small fear, the small risk of a bear eating you, and not in the way you like. I mean, the actual animal, a bear, coming and consuming your flesh. While you eat a bear, or getting eaten by a bear, you know? Getting your butt ate is what I mean, in case that wasn't clear.
By an animal.
Well, what makes you hard is that an animal could eat your butt while you're eating the butt of a human. You know what I mean? That's why you do it at a trailhead. I'm assuming. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm just throwing stuff out.
Indeed,
As a
you are.
man who has had sex with other men, I can assure you that there is nothing conducive to the sexual act of standing at a trailhead and the fear of eating a beer, because things get tight, you know, if you get anxious, you know what I mean? And that makes things no fun.
You're just not depraved enough yet. You just haven't plumbed the depths, so to speak, figuratively
Oh.
and literally.
I've plumbed some depths.
That's a good way to proposition somebody. You could say, "Can I plumb you?" Ugh. I don't know about a good way, but it's a way.
Can I plumb your depths?
Have your depths been plumbed recently? Oh God, that
No.
may be the most horrible way I've ever heard.
But if you're gonna double penetrate at the trailhead and get all your bear friends involved, for the love of God, please pick up your goddamn condoms when you're done.
True.
So I don't have to. That would be thoughtful. Thank you. And by the
You
way,
don't have to either way.
I don't have to, but now based on all of your feedback, and let's be honest, you really gave me a hard time here. You really beat me up over this. And so now I'm going to have to pick those fucking condoms up because of all of the peer pressure that you children have put me under. Thanks a lot.
Well, you teed it up for us and we knocked it out of the park. What do you want me to say?
You did. It's probably what I wanted all along, if I get right down to it. So thank you.
What you wanted all along was to handle those condoms. And I said that earlier, and you called me a psychoanalyst. It's all good. But anyway, pick up your condoms if you're fucking at a trailhead, unless a bear is coming out of the woods to eat your butt. If you don't have time to pick up your condoms, then that's what happens. You want to get your butt ate by the animal, I mean.
All right. So what do you all got going on this week? Anything interesting?
Getting my butt eaten by a bear. Not the animal kind.
Gross.
JK, it's just not her.
Gross.
You know what?
like that
It's if you get your butt eaten, that's the animal. If you get your butt ate, that's the man. How did I come to that distinction, you might ask? If you're asking that, you can't afford to know. So.
And I can't. I just can't. No, I can't. So what you kids got going on this week?
School. I got college. Yeah. Start school tomorrow.
And I understand that one of your professors
Talk about that at all.
finally emailed you and said, hey, you're going to start school tomorrow. Here's some information for you.
Yeah, 1 out of my 4 professors did that.
Because they don't do that. They don't email you shit. You go and get it yourself the day classes start. That's how that works.
No, I did go to college before, and I feel like I had a different experience, but I was not paying attention at all to hardly any of it, so I can't dispute what you're saying right now.
Are you taking any in-person classes, or are they all online?
One of them is partially in person, and the teacher has not even been announced who that is yet.
Oh, that's the grad student one then?
Maybe.
We don't really know, but what we know for sure is this. One person has emailed you and said, don't worry, you're never going to actually meet. You're just going to get a syllabus, and we'll then have to do the work and turn it in online, so be prepared for that.
I like that. I like that a lot. She's like, it's online. It's completely online. We're not going to be doing any Zoom meetings, so I recommend you schedule out time to do the work so that you stay on top of your assignments. And I'm like, yeah, that's what school is. I don't know why you think it's necessary to say schedule out time to do the work.
I'll tell you why. Because you emailed her and said, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what do I do?
I didn't.
That's why.
No, I didn't.
No, we talked about having him email somebody because I suggested, hey, maybe you should email these guys. He said, no, I'll wait and see what happens.
Oh, okay.
And then I did.
Okay. My bad.
And now this is
I made
what's
an
happening.
assumption.
I hope you're
I made
ashamed.
an assumption that I was like proactive and responsible, which was fucking
Right.
stupid.
Yeah.
Not that you were proactive, but that you were being a little bit entitled, which is a totally reasonable assumption. You
Okay.
are, after all, a white man.
Okay. Well, I mean, you did swap it around there. So
Sad.
good job. Good reversal. 2 points to Gryffindor.
So congratulations on getting back into school, and hopefully the other 3 professors will give you some information to suggest what you might want to do to get a grade.
Yeah, to get grades and have them counted as school and such. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see what school is like without working all the time. To just be going to college because I'm not working, don't have a job.
And the reality is that the more I read about people who are in a similar condition to you, the more I understand why it is that you're in the situation that you're in. I, in fact, shared a story with you, Nick, about a 31-year-old in San Francisco, works at a software company, who got sick in March of 2020, and he couldn't get a COVID test at that time, although the symptoms appeared very COVID-like. Several months later, he tried an antibody test, but it was several months later, and no antibody showed up. Yet, now, even still today, he remains someone who simply can't do the things physically that he used to be able to do. And as we know, you, in particular, Nick, suffered pericarditis and myocarditis here recently, and are still recovering from that, and are simply not the same person you are after the last time that you got seriously sick with something respiratory in March. And so, did you have COVID? Who knows? But there's no question about the fact that you have an inflamed heart muscle.
Yeah, so my advice to anyone out there who's listening to this, if you feel normal right now, if you can breathe normally, if your body feels normal, hey, savor it. Savor it. Be thankful. Sit there and appreciate that you can breathe normally, that you can get up and move around and walk and talk without running out of breath at any given second. Just be grateful, you motherfucker. I hate you. I'm just kidding. Just imagine me as Anakin Skywalker right after Obi-Wan Kenobi cut off all his limbs and he's all fucking crispy on the banks of the lava and he's like, I hate you. That's me to everyone who's healthy right now.
He did have the high ground, Anakin.
He did.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
He did. And that was very foolish. Did I ever explain that Obi-Wan Kenobi fan theory that I read? There's a subreddit called Fan Theories that's some of them are really good, and one of them was like Hagrid was a Death Eater the whole time, and it was seriously like 45 pages, and then someone in the comments was like, oh my god, it all makes sense, and I'm like, dude, J.K. Rowling did not fucking have all this extra implication side story. Hagrid was not a fucking Death Eater.
I saw a similar fan theory, very well developed, for Jar Jar Binks, that Jar Jar Binks was in fact Palpatine's pair. Sith are formed in a dyad, if you will.
That was a term that was coined in the latest trilogy. It was just that there was the rule of two. There was too many Sith running around, so Darth Bane said, if there's only two Sith, then those two will be the strongest of the Sith, blah, blah, blah.
So who was Darth Sidious' pair? And the answer is Jar Jar Binks.
I've seen that and I support it.
I don't get what you mean by pair. What do you mean by pair? There's the master and there's the apprentice. That's what there is.
Well, before Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader, who is the apprentice?
Are you fucking kidding me? Before Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader, it's Count Dooku, Darth Tyrannus. And before it was Count Dooku, it was Darth Maul, who got sliced in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi. Sidious had 3 separate apprentices before Darth Vader.
Yes, but my point is that of whom was Darth Sidious an apprentice? He had to have
Darth
a master.
Plagueis.
Oh, he was?
Yes, that's the story he tells Anakin Skywalker. Have you ever heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Oh, he could stop his fucking loved ones from dying, and he was killed by his apprentice in his sleep. Palpatine was that apprentice. His master was Darth Plagueis.
There is an awesome subreddit called R Tinder. Just throwing that out there. And there's a whole bunch of memes on there where they're just like, so I hear you like stories in your bio. Well, have you ever heard the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Yeah. I've seen that too. I've seen so many captions if they'll have conversations where they just completely ruin all chance of an actual date for the meme, you know? And I appreciate it. I think it's great. It's like, hey, if you want to sacrifice any chance of you getting any kind of play here for my amusement, thank you. So, yeah, this whole dyad thing, that was something that was made literally in the latest trilogy because of the whole Rey and Kylo thing. That was never a canon Force state, I guess. I don't know what the fucking word is. But I do remember when people were saying that Jar Jar was actually Sith and, you know, all the fucking goofy ways that he gets out of trouble could only be achieved through use of the Force. He just makes it look like it's some cartoonish, like, oh, this thing got caught in my foot, and then I swung around and I killed the guy by hitting him in the head, all on accident. Oopsie.
Drunken fighting style.
Right. Still yet to be disproven.
In fact, we've already determined that Santa Claus is Sith.
Well, he uses Sith magic.
Doesn't that make him Sith by definition?
Kind of. But here's what I was going to say, is that Obi-Wan Kenobi, you'll remember in what is chronologically the first movie, where Qui-Gon Jinn, at the end, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi are fighting Darth Maul, right?
Yes.
And then Darth Maul and Qui-Gon Jinn are locked in single combat above Obi-Wan Kenobi, fell down below. And Darth Maul and Qui-Gon Jinn are locked in single combat, and Darth Maul gets the better of Qui-Gon Jinn and kills him. And so Obi-Wan Kenobi, in a rage, flies up, uses the Force to jump up from that bottom tier of the little fucking things they were fighting in, jumps over Darth Maul and slices him in half. And then he wins. He's a hero. See, now Obi-Wan Kenobi has fought and killed the first Sith encountered in over a millennium. So all these other Jedi are asking Obi-Wan Kenobi to regale them with the story of how he killed the only Sith seen in a millennium. And as he tells this story over and over to all these different Jedi, he realizes that what he did was stupid. Darth Maul had the high ground. The move that Obi-Wan Kenobi pulled off by jumping over Darth Maul and slicing him in half only worked because Darth Maul was just high off the victory of killing a Jedi Master, a renowned Jedi Master, Qui-Gon Jinn. Oh, I just killed this motherfucker. I'll slice his apprentice easy peasy. And Obi-Wan Kenobi, just watching his master getting killed, uses that to jump over Darth Maul and slice him in half. He's a hero, blah, blah, blah. So when we cut now to Mustafar, where Obi-Wan Kenobi is fighting Anakin Skywalker, okay? Anakin Skywalker is down below on the platform, and Obi-Wan Kenobi sees this situation that he was in years and years ago. He says to Anakin, don't try it. I have the high ground. Because he sees that Anakin is about to do the very same move He's about to attempt the very same move that he did successfully on Darth Maul. And so Anakin tries it, Obi-Wan sees it coming, slices all his limbs off.
A nice set of parallel experiences.
And I would add, who says, Nick, you aren't a nerd?
Nobody.
Fucking nobody.
I definitely didn't say that. I'm a huge nerd. You don't even fucking know. Nobody knows like how deep my nerdiness goes for the things that I like. I can talk about Star Wars all fucking day long. And I know every single thing about every anime I watch. Like, you have no idea how deep it goes.
Can I give you some Star Wars fan fiction?
You can give it to me, but there's also like plenty of canon Star Wars comics and novels that are really good. They were canon until this new trilogy just kind of fucking undid everything ever.
Rip Timothy Zahn.
What does that mean?
Timothy Zahn was like a really prolific Star Wars writer for the actual books that were like side canon.
Rip. I bet he's pissed. Well, yeah, he is. And so are so many fans.
He made some money. I don't know if he's pissed or
true.
not, but
True. Yeah. I mean, he's doing okay, but still, it's like your legacy is defiled.
yeah, it's true.
How did Disney allow this to happen? To have the whole Star Wars canon and lore simply turned into so much toilet paper?
Well, that's easy. That's an easy answer, buddy, because Disney, the execs, yeah, Taylor's over here making the money sign with her hands. The short answer is money. But the execs who acquired Star Wars from Lucasfilms, they didn't know about these books. They didn't know about all this extra canon shit. All they know is the original movies and how much money they made. So they said, hey, we'll buy this franchise. We'll make our own shit how we want to fucking make it, Disney style, and we'll make some more money. Fuck all the other extra comic books and all that shit. Fuck that. We don't care about that. We care about the money.
And, you know, the biggest problem with that is that, in my opinion, they just kept fucking switching directors.
That's another one, switching directors, of course, but also all this other, what's the word? Supplementary lore through all these books and comics and shit. The jackass who greenlit buying Star Wars for Disney did not fucking know or care about that shit. So when they made these new trilogies, like, of course, it was thrown by the wayside.
Which is a shame, because that would be another tremendous source of revenue for them if they could have kept that going.
Yeah, they're going to do that, but in the canon of the new trilogies is what they're going to do.
Well, I think they're going to have a real hard time because they don't make any fucking sense whatsoever.
No. The most egregious part was the Goonies Mad Eye Willie fucking knife thing that she uses. She has that Sith knife and you lined it up with the wreckage of the Death Star. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Straight out of the Goonies, stole it from the fucking Goonies, dude. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're going to tell me the wreckage of the fucking Death Star that crashed to this planet and is literally in a tumultuous ocean has not changed whatsoever in the last 100 years? This fucking dumb Sith knife, which you stole from the Goonies, now it just still works? I'm like, what? This is so dumb.
I agree. Now, have we discussed Wonder Woman 84 yet?
No.
I walked out of the first Wonder Woman movie, so...
That's a shame, because it was a good one.
Why is that? Yeah.
Because it was so fucking long. I just like, all right, this is the end now, right? Okay, all right, this is the end. And I just looked at the person I was with. I'm like, dude, I can't stand this movie anymore. And he was like, yeah, let's go. Like, we just left.
Well, if you didn't like the first Wonder Woman, just wait till you get a load of Wonder Woman 84. That is probably the worst superhero movie I've ever seen, and that is saying something.
What's second worst, just for reference here?
Second worst would probably be Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice. That was a stupid fucking movie.
I kind of liked them fighting, though. If you don't care about the story at all and it's just them fighting, you know, that's kind of at least okay.
It's okay, but the fact of the matter is that Superman is an undefeatable god on Earth versus Bruce Wayne, whose sole superpower is that he's a billionaire. Superman should have been able to snuff out Batman without a second thought.
And it was what? Batman just had like a strong suit, and that made him able to contend with Superman? Wasn't that what it was?
That's what it was. It was lined with kryptonite or something, or he wore a kryptonite jockstrap. I don't know. It was stupid. That's what it was.
He had a kryptonite butt plug in the whole time.
Superman thought double penetration of Batman would be easy. Instead, it weakened him such that Batman could contend with him. I don't know. It was just that stupid. But
he was surprised when his second Kryptonian dick was met with a kryptonite butt plug.
Anyway, Wonder Woman 84, there were parts of that movie that were not supposed to be funny, where Elsie can tell you I literally burst out laughing and just laughed and laughed and laughed.
It was bad, yo. That's all I can say. It was so disjointed that it was hard to even make sense of it. Like, I get it. It's an action movie. You're supposed to suspend your disbelief. But I mean, some of this shit, like they're flying in this jet that they've made invisible, but they're flying it through 4th of July fireworks and that they're somehow not getting hit by the fucking fireworks. Like, how's that happening? Plus, if you've ever been around a jet flying low, like, it's loud. Everybody in the crowd would have heard it. It made no sense. It was dumb.
The whole invisible jet thing is lame. What is the point of an invisible jet? As you say, it's so fucking... You're not sneaking up on anybody in a jet, whether it's invisible or not. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just make the bitch fly, for God's sake. Just let her fly.
But
you
then
know what
she
I mean? At
did.
that point.
Yes, she did. She figured out how to fly. Now, I never knew Wonder Woman could fly, and then turns out that she flies stupidly.
What do you mean?
She flies dumb. She uses her lasso to lasso a cloud, and then she pulls herself along Spider-Man style. And
that was just at first when she was first learning how to fly. At the end, because she had this invisible jet experience with her long-dead boyfriend who was a pilot, who made her feel confident in the air by telling her, oh, no, it's great. Then and only then did she figure it out.
I see. Once flying was mansplained to her by Steve Trevor. Not even Steve Trevor, just some dude with Steve Trevor's soul who was not Steve Trevor. The whole thing was fucking stupid.
There's a man... Wait, so did she learn to fly without the jet?
Yeah, but
completely?
see, he explained to her how the jet works, and that somehow made her feel confident flying.
She just gave up on lassoing clouds and shit, and just now just flying in an invisible fucking jet.
No, just flying Superman style.
So they just ditched the jet halfway through the movie? They scrapped that?
Kinda, but not.
Yes, they did. It was just good for one trip to Egypt and back. By the way, this jet flew all the way to Egypt without refueling. And then flew back apparently without refueling either. You never saw it land in Egypt, so I don't know what airport gave it clearance to land or refueled it, or just so fucking stupid.
Okay, well, all right, wait. Is this invisible jet, like, magical? Is it from her home world? Is it a Tony Stark jet? Well, I guess it wouldn't be because it's not in the same universe.
It'd be a Bruce Wayne jet.
It's a jet that they ripped off from the Smithsonian, so how does that even fucking work? These jets at the Smithsonian don't even have engines in them. Don't start.
Wait. The Smithsonian all this time just had a jet with ultimate visual cloaking capabilities in 1984 that Wonder Woman just stole out of the fucking museum and flew away.
No, it didn't have the invisible properties on its own. She could make it invisible.
With what?
With the power of her magic breasts.
Oh, okay.
God bless Gal Gadot.
All right.
As far as
Wonder Woman 1984 tonight.
No need to rent. It's on HBO Max.
Straight to HBO Max. That's not a good sign. So what? Well, it is pandemic. So what is your 1 through 10?
1 out of 10 stars. I would give it 3 stars out of 10.
Jesus Christ.
Because I love Gal Gadot. Every time she's on a screen, I'm mesmerized. But I would like to see her do something smart rather than something so silly that it makes me burst into laughter.
Or you'd just like to see her naked. Am I right?
No, not really. I don't want to see her naked.
You just fucking admitted that you're mesmerized when she's on screen in front of your wife, mind
If
you.
she can't if she can use her powers to turn her jet invisible, why can't she use her powers to turn her clothes invisible? Is that too much to ask?
Oh, she can do it. It's just you got to subscribe to her OnlyFans account.
That's extra. That's not for free. Wonder Woman's OnlyFans, you know? It's a tough time.
Speaking of which, hey, we're proud to introduce a Shin Show Patreon. That's right, folks. For $3, $5, or $20 a month, you can show your support for a Shin Show by giving us some of your fucking money. If you give us $3, we'll give you a pamphlet, You're Probably Perfect Somewhere, that will tell you all about the Church of Universal Energy and the Infinite Multiverse, making you an acolyte. If you give us $5 a month, you'll become an adept and receive a genuine diploma in infinite theology. Handsomely designed and proudly unaccredited. And if you give us $20 a month, we'll pretty much do whatever you fucking ask us to. So that's at patreon.com/ashinshow.
You know what I would do if I was editing the podcast? I would cut all that out. I would say, I'm cutting that out. And I would say, hey, go to the fucking Patreon. A Patreon.com/Shin Show. Thank you. Then you go look with your fucking eyes. Give us your money. Give us your money. Get on the Patreon.
Also, you will gain access to our brand new and probably launching soon D&D podcast.
Also true.
You subscribe to the highest tier, I'll give you a picture of my asshole.
That's true. You will. In the meantime, if you'd like to support us, please go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Shin Show.
So just skip through that whole long, super rambling listing explanation Dad gave of the various tiers to this point in the show where he says just go to the Patreon Shin
It was
Show.
pretty succinct.
Well, whose side are you on?
My own side, bitch.
Trying to belittle our father for amusement, and this is what I get? I get guff. Support
You
me.
said to fuck Stacey Abrams. Fuck you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Stacey Abrams fixed America. Never forget.
Let's hope. Let's hope. I don't know what you're going to do this week, but I hope it's a good week.
No, you do.
I know what you're going to do this week. I don't know what Noah's going to do this week. He's going to do his usual. Sarah, you're going to do your usual unless you're going to tell me something different. I hope everyone has a good week, and I love you. Bye.
What I'm going to be doing this week is watching to see if our country falls apart.
It was saved. What are you talking about? We're good.
Look, once he started thinking about Gal Gadot, the wife next to him meant nothing.
Oh, shit.
Party's back on. It's okay because Stacey, what's her name?
Abrams.
There we go.
Yeah, it's J.J. Abrams' sister, didn't you know?
Yeah. Stacey's Abrams saved us. Party's back on, baby! Put it on the credit card. Woo! You wake up bright and early, eager to get to work. You've got a good feeling this morning that your worms have cleared up for good this time. You have enough time to make a nice breakfast and some hot coffee before you get in the car to go to work. When you sit in the driver's seat, you feel that familiar stab of agony in your stomach. Boy, those worms are really at it today. While you drive to work, you feel a bump in the road, bigger than the usual bumps you feel. You stop the car and look back and see a freshly slain cow in the street. You think, how could that be? My car would be totaled if I hit a cow. But you look back again and it's still there. You look at yourself in the rearview mirror. What the fuck?
Tunchman's scented candles. They stink good. A Shin Show is a production of Shinfluence. It features the voices and opinions of the Shin family, which are entirely and exclusively their own. Join us each week on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks as always to our regular listeners. We love to hear from you, so if you have a question, comment, recommendation, or idea you would like to submit to a Shin Show, please email us at ashinshow@gmail.com, and we will be happy to ignore it, belittle you publicly, or steal your ideas if you actually have a good one.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.